Good morning, students. Welcome to physics class. We are doing practicals and we have already completed three experiments. First one is vernier calipers, second one is screw gauge, and third one is sperometer. In today's experiment, we are going to study about beam balance. It is very interesting and exciting experiment which we are going to do today. First point here, what we have to remember is there are no calculations involved in this. Straight away, we can tell the value of the mass of the object which is to be determined using this beam balance without doing any calculation. So without wasting much time, let us start the experiment. This is the beam balance which is used to determine the mass of the object and what are the necessary materials required for determining the mass is object whose mass is to be determined, second one slotted weights, and third one is beam balance. So as I told, no need to do any calculations. Depending upon the oscillations of the beam, we can determine the mass of the given object. So without wasting much time, let us start doing this simulator. This is this simulator which is used to determine the mass of the given object. Here two objects are given. One is metallic bob, other one is wooden block. So anyone we can choose for determining its mass. Before going to determine the mass of the object, let us open the doors of this beam balance. Once the doors are opened, select the object whose mass is to be determined. I am selecting bob. So after placing this bob, close the doors and without putting any mass, I will show you how this beam oscillates. If you select this rotor, the beam oscillates in like this. Here we can't able to see oscillations because the mass of this bob is very high. So we are can't able to see oscillations. To balance this one, we have to select the slotted weights mentioned here. And if you are selecting the proper slotted weight, which is to be placed in the right side pan, then the beam starts oscillating. So let us start selecting the slotted weights. To select the slotted weights, we have to rest this beam by selecting this rotor. Once the beam is getting in equilibrium, open the doors. Here I am selecting 100 grams initially. Close the door. Rotate the rotor. So here the total beam shifts towards left, means the weight which we are selecting in the right pan is very high. So deselect 100 grams by opening the door and now place 50 grams. After removing 100 grams, I am placing 50 grams. Now close the door and check the position of the beam. Now the beam shifts towards right but not completely. Means here we can add some more weights to this right side pan. I selected 50 grams but there is a chance of selecting weights which are in between 50 and 100. Initially we selected 100 grams, it is very high. Now I selected 50 grams, it is less. So the weights should be in between 50 and 100. Keep this point in mind and make this beam in equilibrium position. Open the door and add some more weights. Now I am selecting 20 grams. Close the door. Now 20 grams becomes more. So the weight of this, the mass of this bob is in between 50 and 70. 50 grams is less and 70 grams is more. So now remove this 20 grams and place 10 grams. Like that, in the order wise, we have to select the weights. So I am deselecting 20 grams and I am selecting 10 grams. Close the door and select this rotor. So Now the weight of this bob is more, and the weights which we are placing in the right side pan are less. So we can add a few more weights. Now the weight is 50 plus 10, 60 grams. So we can increase the mass by 5 grams. Close the door. Select the rotor. Now 5 grams is more. Now remove 5 grams and place 2 grams. So the total weights are 50 plus 10 plus 2, which is 62. Close the door. So now the weight is 62, which is less. So select one more gram. So for that we have to make this beam in a stationary position. Open the door. Close the door. So 1 gram is also less. So remove 1 gram and put 2 grams. So total weight is 50 plus 10 plus 4. So 64. So close the door. Now it is oscillating. So observe the oscillations. It should oscillate equally on both the sides. So if you have any doubt, reset this one and again start oscillating. So it is moving more on right side and going less on left side. That indicates that mass of the bob is more when compared with mass which we are placing in the right pan. So if you keep this beam in the stationary position, it should not point, it is not pointing 0, it has to point 0. Then only our weights are correct. So after getting this in equilibrium, what we can conclude here is the masses which we have added are less and we can add further. So rest this one and open the doors. Now 50, 60 and 64 grams are there. Now I am placing 65 gram totally. So 1 gram which I have added is more. So remove 1 gram and place 500 milligrams. So the total weight now is 64 grams 500 milligrams. So close the door. Now observe the oscillations. So 500 grams is still more. So remove that 500 grams and place 200 grams. Close the door. If you observe the oscillations, this 200 grams is also more. So open the door, remove 200 grams and place 100 grams. Now this 100 grams is 100 milligrams become less more. So we have to adjust the weights because the other weights are not given, less weights are not given. So we have to adjust the weights. So I am keeping this 100 grams as such and I am removing 2 grams and I am placing 1 gram. So for that I have to open the door and remove this 2 gram and place 1 gram. Now the mass of the bob increases. So again select the proper weight. I am cross checking once again with my weight. still we have few more weights in this process, so we can select those weights also. So here as of now what we got is 50 grams, 60 grams, 64 grams, 100 milligrams. 64 grams, 100 milligrams is there in the pan. So if you oscillate this one, it shows that the mass of the bob is more. By making this beam in the equilibrium position, the beam is shifting towards right. So the mass of the bob is more. So we can increase our weights. So for that, open the door. Select 20 grams. After closing the door, select this beam. So 20 grams became less. So we can add further. I am selecting another 20 grams. So after closing the door, observe the oscillations. So definitely this 20 grams is also less. So deselect this 20 plus 20 by opening the door. Now observe the oscillations. You can check the proper weight when this beam is in the equilibrium position. So we have to wait for that. In which side this beam is getting into rest position, then only we can decide the weight, then only we can decide the mass of the bob, whether it is more or the masses which we have added on the red pan are more. Yes, so finally we got the answer. Now the beam is exactly in the rest position, zero position, not shifting towards right or left. Now count the number of weights. So I have 50 grams plus 10 grams plus 4 grams means 64 grams, and 64 grams, 100 plus 50, 150 milligrams. So 64 grams, 150 milligrams is the weight of the bob. So if you get this beam in the equilibrium position, that indicates that it is the mass of that bob. So if you want, you can cross check by checking this result. As I told, 64 gram, 170 milligram. So here 50 plus 10 plus 4, 64 gram, 100 grams and 50 milligrams. So this 15 you have to get. So here it is showing 17. So one or two values may be less or more, but we got almost exact value by counting out these weights. So this is the procedure of finding out the mass of the given object using beam balance. So I hope you understood this procedure. So please try to do on your own after getting this video to you. It is a very interesting experiment and very easy experiment. So the mass of the given object can be determined using this beam balance. The procedure here is like this. So I hope you understood this experiment clearly. With this experiment, all 4 experiments of term 1 are over. Again, we'll meet in term 2 experiment videos. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Thank you.